ojú tí bá ti ráwọn lọ́ọ̀yà ìṣúyẹ̀ tó wá jẹ́ àgbà lọ́ọ̀yà ẹ̀rù máa ń bà mí tí wọ́n ti ń wojú pé ṣe tó bá sọ̀sọ̀kúsọ oh god wọ́n á kàn jù ẹ́ ní wo wọ́n á ju kọ́kọ́rọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n akin ajé túmọ̀ bí gan kò ní wọ́n nílé lójútu ọ̀rọ̀ adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. So he's here. I must quickly introduce him because it's our tradition here to just say one or two things about our guest. Our guest is pastor. He may not like it, but me, I love to call him pastor because you are first a man of God before you are a man of men. Abi, if I'm wrong, you can. So he's Pastor Oluseun Abimbola, a senior advocate of Nigeria. He attended the great government college Ibadan and the equally great Obafemi Awolowo University. But when they went, it was University of Ife, Abi. That time. History okay, well, Obafemi Awolowo University. He became a lawyer. Then today is the lead partner at Prime Solicitors. There they are into corporate law, business law, startup law, and all those things. Then the specialties, corporate and commercial law, civil litigation, ADR, I don't know what that one means. He's going to explain to us later. Telecommunications law and others. And he's a very big man when he's in the midst of the Nigerian Bar Association and his people. He's held so many positions, including the chairman, Ibadan NBA. So he's done a lot. Then recently, he was elevated to the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria on the 14th day of December, year 2020. So then he worked with the government of second term when the government of late Senator Abiola Ajimobi as the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice at that time. Okay, that was between June 2016 and May 2019. And like I said, when I was making my opening remark, he's also a pastor of a church, and we not want to mention, but if he wishes to mention it, he is free to mention the church. So he's there with us, and I must welcome him. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us. We really appreciate it. On behalf of management of Splash 105.5 FM, we welcome you to this show, and we believe before you leave this place, you say one or two prayers for us because àdúrà kìnkìnní báyìí ó sàn ju èpè tán fi àgbàrá lọ àdúpẹ́. Pastor ni ìwà ti wà ń bí pastor ni wọ́n ṣé mo jẹ̀bẹ̀ kákọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ ti kí wa ṣé àti kí wa ẹ kí wa lọ.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abimbola. It's a pleasure to be here, and of course, I always appreciate Splash FM. It's a pioneer in the broadcast industry in many ways, and it kept their standards.
Okay, we thank God and we give God all the glory. Adá gbogbo ògo yẹn padà sọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run ló ń fún wa ṣe níbí, Ọlọ́run tó ń fún wa ṣe náà yóò tún máa fún wa ṣe. Lórí ètò yìí àtèdè òyìnbó àti èdè Yorùbá àwọn lọ́ọ̀yà ló wà níbí lónìí àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ kan wà tó yẹ pé àwọn juggernaut and tautology àwọn kinní kan tó wà nínú òfin wọ́n lè má lè sọ ní Yorùbá rẹpẹtẹ ẹ máa fún wọn ní gáfárà kí wọ́n ṣe èbò díẹ̀díẹ̀ àbí mo ti rí àlejò wa. Ọ̀dà àkùbù Ọlọ́run fún wa ṣe. So thanks for graciously agreeing to be on this show, sir. You are here because I would say it as a kind of opening remark that we would like you to educate us, you will inform us too, and in short, you will teach us so much today, sir. Because being a pastor and being a lawyer, and we have so much to gain from you, especially with the way the country is today. Because ẹ ti rí inú ẹ ti lóde ẹ ti rí spiritual level ẹ ti rí physical level ẹ ti rí bá a ṣe gbogbo nǹkan tó dẹ̀ ń pa wá kú lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ṣe máa ń sọ lawlessness àìbọ̀wọ̀ fófin ní méjọ́ kínní wa gbogbo ẹ̀yà lájọyọ̀ nànà lónìí Ọlọ́run sì fún wa ṣe. But kí n tó wá sọ ẹ ti ṣe bí Attorney General late Governor Ajimobi ṣé ẹ sì wá ń ṣòṣèlú lónìí bá ṣe àbí pa yẹn náà ṣòṣèlú ń gbà yẹn.
Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé bá ṣe máa ń sọ kò sẹ́ni tí ò lóṣèlú lára.
Okay.
To one degree or the other.
Okay.
Àtẹni tó dipò mú àtẹni tí ò dipò mú gbogbo wa la lóṣèlú lára.
Gbogbo wa la lóṣèlú lára. So lónìí tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ wo lẹ wà?
Sherry, the issue of politics in Nigeria is such that continues to metamorphose.
Lawyer.
And let me finish. Let me finish. When I left office as Attorney General, I stepped back into legal practice.
Okay.
Into legal practice in terms of what I do.
Okay.
So I'm not an active politician on the field today.
Okay.
I'm not an active politician.
I am not an active politician on the field today. That is your answer.
But I have my sympathies.
For lawyer,
I served an APC government, so where else do you expect my sympathies?
So you are in APC today.
Yes,
Are you, for whatever reason, are you thinking of picking? Or okay, well, it's too late now. You can't contest for anything again. Except somebody wants to swap your name for
contest
to become the governor.
Gbogbo èèyàn ló máa ń gbèrè ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ayán gbà mí.
Okay.
Pé èmi náà lè di egún mo lè dọ́gbọ̀n.
Okay.
Even bí o tiẹ̀ tí di nǹkan kan.
Yóò di yẹ́ta.
So kì í ṣe gbogbo èèyàn tó ní òun fẹ́ di nǹkan ló ń dà. Ọlọ́run ló mọ bí gbogbo wa máa dé. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ àfilẹ̀ sí yẹn.
Oh, that. But the way things are in APC today, since we know you have sympathy for APC, how will you advise the party to sort out this seemingly unsolvable problem of legitimacy in court that is trailing the emergence of the gubernatorial candidate of the party, Senator Teslim Folarin?
I don't know what you mean by
because
legitimacy, but
no, that's why I said quote and unquote. Your senior colleague, Tola, went on there and he said so much, and the thing has been a ding-dong affair between the party and his good self. How do you see this development, sir?
Well, thank you very much. Like I said, there are active players in the political field.
Okay.
Who might have understanding.
Okay.
Who might have traded some concessions in the course of their development, in the course of their engagement, in the course of their contest. And sometimes some of those things will influence the remarks that men will make. I cannot speak to that because I don't know what to just sọ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú mi ò ń jà.
Ṣé kò wà ní ipa ẹgbẹ́ lára báyìí?
And then tẹ́ bá wo gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ kejì ẹ̀ ṣe APC nìkan ẹ wo PDP ẹ wo everywhere kò síbi tí ṣe ò sí. To the extent to which you can say the same question tẹ́ bí mi ń pa APC alìbèrè ń pa PDP alìbèrè ń pa many other parties too. So it's not peculiar. I think the problem is our political culture.
Okay.
Our political culture is still so much underdeveloped.
Okay.
To the extent that many times nítorí nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ dà, sometimes we don't want somebody else to have a leeway or a leverage. I always say that ojú ọ̀run tẹ́ yẹ fò bí n bá dà lé ní ọ̀la ṣì wà ń bẹ̀.
Ṣé àrò pé torí pé
But
most of us are gbọ́ lóhùn gbọ́ ni
it's a political.
àbá gbọ́ lóhùn gbọ́.
Well, àárín oníkálùkù pẹ̀lú Ọlọ́run ẹ̀rọ wà. But it's a political culture in this part of the world that we want it and we want it now. We feel this is the best time. This is the only time. It's not even a matter of it's not a matter of Emilokan. It's a matter of you recognizing that kini wù mí, ó wù ọ́, ó wù ẹni tọ̀hún, ó wù àwa bíi mẹ́jọ. Ṣùgbọ́n ta ni ká wò pé ó máa gbé wa lékè kí gbogbo wa wá gbárùkù tì. Kì í ṣe pé ọ́fíìsì bì kan ọ̀dọ̀ gbogbo wa náà lọ́fíìsì.
Ọ̀dọ̀ gbogbo wa náà lọ́fíìsì.
Because the most important thing to me is building a nation. It's not so much of is this person or that person, but building a nation.
What is most important is building a nation.
Yes.
Oda Kuburu, we'll be right back. We will need to go on this very short break. Our guest has been Pastor
Pastor kì í ṣe title, call it.
Pastor
So I'm still Mr.
Oluseun Abimbola SAN. We'll be right back. We need to go on this short break. Please don't go anywhere. We still have much to tell you. Thank you.
This is not the start.
You're welcome back. The program is still Parrot Xtra Hour on radio. Ayeko on radio. My name is Oluseun Abimbola, and I have my guest here with me. Barrister, lawyer, Pastor Oluseun Abimbola. So kí ni ká wá pè yín?
Ọ̀gbẹ́ni náà.
Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Oluseun Abimbola, former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Oyo State. He's been our guest and we've been discussing so much. And if you want to join us on Facebook, we are streaming live on Facebook. Just type in Splash FM 105.5. Splash FM 105.5. You see us live. You see Oluseun Abimbola with his guest, Mr. Oluseun Abimbola. Sir, as Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Oyo State that time, you were the man responsible for all legal advice, all legal advice to the Oyo State government and its agencies. You were the chief prosecutor for the state and lead defense counsel in all matters against the state. Can you remember your most challenging task that time?
Well, there are several because the state is a behemoth of hands and legs. Sometimes the hands and legs are working in uncoordinated manners.
Okay.
Because of the individuals heading different agencies,
Okay.
doing different things without first seeking the opinion of what the law says.
I was thinking you were going to talk about that time you crowned several kings in Ibadan.
That's the least of, well, I won't say the least, but that was not even the most serious of issues because that process followed the law. But he found a political solution, which is fine. I don't want to go into that now.
It followed processes of the law.
Yeah, absolutely. The Court of Appeal validated it.
Okay.
It went to Court of Appeal and it validated it. So that shows it followed the law. So, but like I said, we found a political solution, which is fine. It probably came ahead of its time. But more importantly is the fact that there are so many issues that you may not see on the pages of newspapers. There was a time there was a claim against the government in terms of a liability a previous administration had accrued against the government for $50 million.
Uh-huh.
But we managed to resolve it for in a way that won the cases and we struck out their own processes. There are also many other cases, many other programs, projects that the law assisted to concretize. One important part of it were the laws that were modified, institutions that were built, particularly for the judiciary. It was at that time that we set up the multi-door courts. It was at that time we set up the customary court of appeal. It was at that time we set up the family court. It was at that time we set up the grade A customary courts. All of those institutions were built, legitimized at that time, and they are still there running.
They're still there running. So what would you say was your major achievement as Attorney General at that time?
I think
that we can still see today.
All those institutions came in while I was Attorney General, and I had the support of His Excellency, the Governor Senator Ajimobi at the time. And for me, if you can establish a judicial process or at least facilitate the access to justice for the common man,
yes.
Anybody can walk into the Oyo State multi-door court and walk in and file a matter that will be resolved by mediation without it going through litigation.
Okay.
The mediation center at the Ministry of Justice, I met it there, but we enhanced its capacity. We made the law we amended the law to make it enforceable if somebody defaults, and so many other things like that.
So many other things like that. So what would you say was your major challenge that time? Just one sentence or two sentences?
Well, we never had enough money to do as much as we would have wanted to do.
Okay, you never had enough money. So sir, somewhere in Nigeria, the matter is supposed to be in court, so we cannot be specific. Somewhere in Nigeria, a family said it secured the validation of a 50-year-old judgment to recover over 200 plus of land in a well-built area in this country, maybe in this state. Okay. Now, the family claimed it had, or it still has, superior title to the certificate of occupancy. Legally, how do you see this kind of development? Is there any superior title to the CFO?
Well,
before you say anything, sir, because that thing, when we carried the story on our website, pmparrot.com, the story almost busted our website. Comments from all over the world, and the general conclusion was that nobody should go to Oyo State to go and buy land again, because if you have your land and your CFO, somebody will just come with 100-year-old judgment and reclaim your land. How do you see this, sir?
I think the major problem we have is with the lack of support structures to implement some existing laws. A CFO is in law, we say, is a prima facie proof of title, which means on the face of it, and to ní CFO
ní property. Okay.
Ṣùgbọ́n tí ẹjọ́ bá lọ court lórí ilẹ̀ tó ní CFO lé lórí, ìdájọ́ tí ilé ẹjọ́ bá gbé kalẹ̀ ó bá ráì CFO. Tí ilé ẹjọ́ bá sọ pé CFO tó gbé wáyé
gèrèǹjẹ ni
kò bá mú o,
òmùnádókò
ilé ẹjọ́ lè gbàdánù. Ilé ẹjọ́ lè, but for good reason.
Okay. For
good reason, not arbitrarily. So èmi ò mọ gbogbo story tó surround
èyí tá a sọ
yìí, ṣùgbọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ kẹ́ni ẹjọ́ yẹn wà court, so mo mọ̀ pé àwọn lọ́yà tó wà involved wọ́n á ti máa pa wọ́n á máa kún. Ṣùgbọ́n bí a bá mú 50-year-old judgment, òfin allow láti revalidate.
Òfin allow ẹ̀.
There is a provision in the law that allows you to, with leave of court, to enforce a judgment. There are other issues tó máa so mọ́ o. There are other issues tó máa so mọ́.
Tó láti so mọ́.
For instance, nǹkan kan ti common bá ní lọ́yọ̀ state yìí sìn. Àwọn family kan lè dìde ń sìn kó sọ pé baba ńlá baba wọn ló ní cocoa house. Ló ní ilẹ̀ ibi tó gbọ́ cocoa house. Kó lọ sílé ẹjọ́, kó lọ pẹjọ́. Ó lè má po Oòduà lẹ́jọ́, Oòduà tó ní cocoa house, ó lè pe ẹni tó ní ilé kejì lẹ́jọ́, kó wá claim gbogbo ilẹ̀ jẹ́ alẹ̀, kó wá claim gbogbo ilẹ̀ jẹ́ alẹ̀, tó wá dẹ̀ ṣẹjọ́ pẹ̀lú ẹni tó ní ilé kejì, ìyẹn ò ní bá dùn pé òun lòun ní cocoa house, cause kò ní cocoa house, ilé kejì ló máa dù. But kò claim tó bá gba tẹ́lẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá gba judgment ṣe kò lè di wàhálà. And I know that apart from that, a lot of people idle greed ngbà mí, ilẹ̀ tí baba ńlá baba wa ti tà tẹ wá padà lọ. My grandfather was the baale of Olonda-Aba. When I was going to Olonda-Aba as a boy, tá máa lọ kákòkò, kò sí nǹkan kan láàrin láti Ìsàbátùdín ní foot of the bridge àkóbọ̀ ẹ̀ tẹ́ fi lọ. Mo lè ka iye ilé tó wà right and left fún ọ̀ṣẹ́, kò sí títì eruku ní ìlà tẹ́ fi máa dọ́lọ́ndà. Nà kémi náà wá lọ́nsìn.
Èmi àti yàrá jọ lọ.
Ṣé wàá sọ pé bàbá ńlá bàbá mi àwa la ní gbogbo àkóbọ̀. Lórí ilẹ̀ tí wọ́n ti tà fún tó ti lọ látọwọ́dọ́wọ́dọ́wọ́dọ́wọ́. Wá sọ pé kí gbogbo ẹni tó ń gbà àdúgbò yẹn.
Àkìíṣe wọn náà tí wọ́n tẹ̀lé wa.
Wá sọ pé gbogbo ẹni tó ń gbà àdúgbò yẹn ó yẹ máa múwèé yín wá o. Ẹ wá fi hàn lọ́wọ́ talẹ́tì rà. I'm not obliged to prove my innocence. You are the one obliged to prove my guilt. Èmi kọ́ ni máa prove fún ẹ pé wrong place ni mo ti rà. Ìwọ ló máa prove ẹ pé wrong place ni mo ti rà. Ìwọ ló máa prove right tiẹ̀. Iṣẹ́ mi ni máa prove wrong.
But ilé sọ pé ilẹ̀ nílẹ̀.
I have my proof for that, but I don't owe you an explanation for it until you show a superior title in court.
But what we're talking about here is, what is the implication of this for even investors hoping to come into the state?
I think the law that we passed in 2016 on the anti-land grabbing should be given teeth.
Okay, so
Because
the law is existing
it's
already.
existing since
So what's
2016.
happening?
Well, many times people write the police. The police need to be spoken to about implementing that law in terms of, because the law goes far.
Okay.
Not only ní òfin yẹn sọ pé ẹnikẹ́ni ò gbọ́dọ̀ fi tipátipá gbalẹ̀ onílẹ̀, ó tiẹ̀ sọ pé bó o bá níwọ̀ ló nílẹ̀ tó ló níwèé tó ló ní judgement, you will still have to go through the legal process. Bí àwọn ìtàn sọ pé wọ́n lọ revalidate, they still have to go through that process.
Okay.
Towards
kọ́ gbàgbé kóòtù lọ́wọ́.
Kọ́ tó ṣe lọ ṣe enforcement, wọn kàn lè wọ́bẹ̀ pé kọ́kọ́ mú judgement pé okay o àwa ní ilé ẹjọ́ sọ pé a ní o káwá wọbẹ̀ káwá lọ máa ṣe tó wù wá ń bẹ̀. However, with the case in court, I'm sure parties would have raised different issues. For instance, tí ilé ẹjọ́ bá máa ṣèdájọ́ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀, ó máa ní ibi tó cover. Tí bá sọ pé bàbá mi ló ní ilẹ̀ ring road, ibo ló bẹ̀rẹ̀ ibo ló parí sí? Ṣé láti challenge dé my 110 ni? Àbí ó parí sí Ọ̀ṣọ́sàmì junction? Àbódé ìyẹn ni wọ́n máa ń pè ní dispute survey plan.
Okay.
So dispute survey plan ló máa sọ ibi tílẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ibi tílẹ̀ parí sí yẹn dẹ̀ lẹ́ máa ti fi fẹ́ ṣẹjọ́. So tó bá dijọ́ tẹ́ ẹ bá jàre ẹjọ́ tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ lọ levy execution tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ lọ take possession, o ò lè kọjá ibi tí dispute survey yẹn sọ pé o ní tó fi ṣẹjọ́, o kàn lè claim left and right.
Okay, ó dà kò burú. Jẹ́ ká sáré béèrè ilé ìlọ́wọ́ yín ká tó, because òfin kan wà tán maybe I should just ask you like this. Local government autonomy law. They said the National Assembly, not even they said, the National Assembly passed it with proviso that state assemblies should pass it in pass the same law. Maybe 2/3 of them should pass, then the National Assembly will now ratify it or something like that. They said it's only 10 states out of 36 that have passed it since the law was passed by the National Assembly. How do we get local governments in Nigeria to become truly independent if this is the kind of lackluster approach that we have to it?
You see, it's desirable to have that constitutional amendment sailed through.
Okay.
But let us understand that that is not the only proposed amendment to the Constitution that is sitting before the state houses of assembly. They have like probably about 23 or more amendments. And it is the same process
that they are supposed to follow.
That they are supposed to follow. So if some states are having issues with a few of those proposed amendments to the Constitution, but they have no problem with supporting local government autonomy, automatically local government autonomy law will suffer the damage tí àwọn other objectionable amendments máa suffer. Àmì dẹ̀ fi òpin nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àwọn states wọn tí pàṣẹ kì í ṣe pé bí àwọn ò fẹ́ pàṣẹ ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ti kẹ́ran mérò, and the point is àwọn tó kẹ́ran mérò wọ́n mọ tó ń ṣe.
So it is right to say that the present constitution we have is the main problem.
Well, constitution is a problem, no doubt, but our human beings are a bigger problem. Bí bófin kan ṣe tófin ò bá ti burú tó sọ pé ẹ lè máa yínra yín lọ́rùn tófin ò sanwó ẹ̀ tí kò cover débi tẹ́ ẹ rò pé ó yẹ kó cover dé, tèmi àtẹ̀yìn tá a dipò mú tó bá jẹ́ pé àwa fẹ́ ṣe tó tọ́ àti tó yẹ ó ní bá a ṣe ń ṣe, ó ní béèyàn ṣe ń ṣe even with the bad law. Ṣùgbọ́n tó bá yẹ pé àwọn tá a dipò mú àwa fẹ́ exploit bad law láti further nest tiwa ni, of course law yẹn ni everybody máa tackle, ìyẹn ló fa ti constitution tá a ní tí everybody tackle ẹ̀ sí. Ṣùgbọ́n èmi sọ fún yín pé tá a bá settle constitution á settle a few things, ṣùgbọ́n táwa gan fúnra ara wa ò bá ronúpìwàdà, àwa tá a dipò mú tá a bá ronúpìwàdà tá a fi pé tó bá ti bọ́ bẹ̀ ó bá ti di
bámúbámú láyó,
àwa la take over, tó bá ti di gba ará òkè nìkan àwọn náà ni wọ́n kó gbogbo ẹ̀, tó bá ti di pẹ́ tó wá gbé bá a ṣe fẹ́ máa rò ó nìyẹn, bá a fẹ́ máa ṣe nìyẹn, wọ́n ẹ̀ bá a change constitution lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́wàá constitution
ọ̀dà bá a change constitution lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́wàá inú ẹ̀yìn gbálà yín àgbàdo sí ọlọ́run kọ̀ wá mọ̀ ṣe. À ń láti lọ sí ojú ọjà náà. Akin ṣé o ti yá? Ọláyínká Agbọ́lá lórúkọ mi, Parrot Xtra on radio ní ètò tẹ́ ń gbọ́, ètò yín à ń padà bọ̀, ẹ má lọ bí kankan. Yeah, welcome back. The program is still Parrot Xtra on radio. You could on radio. And we were talking just when we went on break. We were still talking about the Constitution Amendment issue. You said you submitted the other time that the local government amendment law proposal was deliberately put inside some other constitutional amendment issues.
No, usually the process of constitutional amendment will come with a Constitutional Amendment Act.
Okay.
That act would contain all the clauses
Okay.
to be amended,
Okay.
added, removed, deleted, all of that.
Okay.
But concerning different material issues.
Okay.
Local government amendment autonomy is one of those issues.
Inside the same package.
Inside the same package,
Okay.
among many others.
Others.
There were
Like what and what?
There were others that were proposed
Like-
that did not pass.
Okay.
Issues of like the VAT,
Okay.
that the VAT, there's a case at the Supreme Court on that
Okay.
already.
Okay.
But it was proposed as a constitutional amendment for VAT
Okay.
to be decentralized.
Okay.
It did not pass,
Okay.
so it's not in the package. There were some other things that were
That
proposed.
the
that
water
didn't
bill.
pass.
Uncle?
The water bill is being proposed as a different legislation which is presently in the National Assembly.
Okay.
But there are other things like issues of trying to redefine indigene.
Okay.
Is in the amendments that has been proposed.
What is that one talking about?
I can't recall in full, but I think that it seeks to put a time frame that
Okay.
if you have lived in a particular locality
Okay.
for a period of time,
Okay.
you can automatically claim to be an indigene of the place. So
Okay.
if I'm from Oyo State
Okay.
and I have lived in Kano
Okay.
for that period of time,
Okay.
then I can claim to be an indigene of Kano.
Uh-huh.
But you and I know, in terms of our cultural perceptions and our local circumstances, that I can claim it by right.
Okay.
But in terms of full implementation,
Okay.
I may never enjoy the benefit of it.
Okay. That you
Depending
you
on
can't be
depending
voted
on,
for or something like that.
You know, depending on the environment.
Okay.
And because we already have a warped federal structure,
Okay.
that proposal is going ahead of the need to rework that structure.
Okay.
What should have happened is a reworking of the structure before you make that sort of proposal.
Yes.
Not that you make that proposal and it will only be for the benefit of those who already are enjoying the structure on ground.
Okay.
So these things have been added to the bill. So how do you expect some state houses of assembly to just pass it en bloc just because they want local government autonomy?
Just because. Anyway, I don't want to be selfish because I'm always under attack that I don't allow people to call in. Okay, let me just call out the number 0809 155 1055 0809 155 1055 if you want to join this conversation that I've been having with restructuring in core.
But constitutional
It's still
amendment
the same thing.
is part of the process of restructuring, but this proposed amendment does not restructure anything.
Okay.
And these are part of the reasons why some might have developed cold feet in terms of passing it when the real issues
Okay.
that they wanted to have passed were not approved at the National Assembly. And
Well,
it's a negotiation.
They were not approved. Anyway, if you had the opportunity now today as we're talking to just say one or two and you one-on-one with the President Muhammadu Buhari, what would you tell him as a pastor and as a lawyer?
I think the most critical problem we face in Nigeria is the fact that everybody is living in suspicion of the other. Every region is suspicious of the other region. And you see, the head is the one that unites the whole. If you are the father in the house and you are doing preferential treatment to all your children, you are not likely to enjoy the support of all of your children. And trust is earned.
Okay.
It is not conferred. It is not me telling you, trust me.
Okay.
I can say trust me, but you would think through how I've acted in time past and ask yourself, can I trust you?
This fellow.
So you have to earn it. And a large
so what will you
of
tell
that-
him?
What I will tell you is that it needs to unite this country.
Okay.
And it will take sacrifice to unite the country. You have to look away from what you call entitlement and look at what is equitable.
And what is equitable? So I'm sure you want to say one or two words to our politicians too. as a pastor, as a lawyer.
It's the same principle. Whether you are a president, you are a governor, you are a minister, you are a commissioner, and all of that, you are there to serve all. And serving all is not in words; it is in demonstrable action. It must be seen. In law, we say justice must not only be done, but must be seen to have been manifestly done. So it's not just I have done what is just in your own thinking. Does your neighbor think you have done what is just?
But normally, before our time is far spent, how do you think Nigeria found itself in just one or two sentences in this mess that we are now? We was not
it was a gradual slide into decay.
Okay.
Starting with the corruption of the minds of men.
Okay.
We substituted values for benefit.
Okay.
We mortgaged merit for preference. And then it will slide further into the corruption of the structure itself. By the time you start seeing, for instance, there are some principles that we have introduced into our environment in answer to some existing problems, but it is creating more problems. One of which is amnesty.
Amnesty. Hey.
Because everybody is now claiming amnesty as a political tool. Because militants got amnesty, Boko Haram got amnesty, so some are already proposing that bandits should get amnesty.
Oda. I'm sure you want to say something to Nigerians.
Well, me, I'm a die-hard believer in Nigeria.
Okay.
And I believe that in my generation, in my life, time, by the grace of God, Nigeria will be better.
Nigeria.
I know a lot of people want in Japan since I believe many of them will come back.
Many of them will come back. Well, if I'm sure a couple of listeners may want to whisper to you after this show, you want to give a phone number they can call, maybe for further explanation. You are a pastor and for counseling.
Okay, I will give you the number, but I don't think I want to. You can announce it later.
Tìmílẹ́yìn Fáṣọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀já máa lọ àsìkò ti lọ. So on behalf of everybody here, management and everybody, we want to thank you once again for taking time out of no time to be here with us on this show. We appreciate your presence, and I'm sure if we call you again, that because I still have about one trailer load of questions here that I want to ask you, and we really did not allow people to call in to God will forgive us and they will forgive us too. So we thank you once again. So on behalf of everybody here, I thank everybody. Akin Ajetomobi, Adupe, God bless you. Olawalewe, Ejamalo, Ibukun, Dariraji, Ejamalo. Till next week, my name is Olayinka Agbola. God bless Nigeria. God bless us all.